The regular meeting of the Annapolis City Council on Monday, March 11th, 2024 will be called to order at 7 p.m. At this time, please join us for the invocation given by Alderman Chanelma, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please bow your heads if you choose to. Let us tonight do the work of helping those who need help, of providing comfort to those who need comfort, and doing our best to make this city a more open and welcoming place for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley.
Here.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Present.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Present.
Alderwoman Pendell Charles.
Present.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Present.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Present.
Alderman Gay. Alderman Savage.
Present.
Alderman
What was
Arnett.
that?
Present.
Sorry.
Thank you.
How are you?
Mr. City Attorney, please present the first on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
This time I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
The next item is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
All right, you can blame Mitchell for this. Keid Mila Falacha. That's 1,000 welcomes in Irish, apparently. This week, we will welcome thousands of revellers to Annapolis to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with a parade and a 3-day-long party on City Dock presented by Naptown Events. You can check their website for details. That's Naptown Events. I'd like to thank all of our city staff who work to assist the organisers and keep public safety at the top of the priority list, including police, fire, OEM, DPW, special events, the law office, the harbour master, and our communications team. Thank you to the amazing job that you all do for the City of Annapolis. The St. Patrick's Parade kicks off a season of parades in Annapolis, with Dr. King Parade in April, Memorial Day in May, Pride and Juneteenth in June, and Independence Day in July. I'll be out on Sunday with members of the City Council and other staff. Our float has been designed by Jehovah's Artistas students and teachers from Maryland Hall. We are so grateful for their wonderful ideas and partnership. Please come out and say hello and enjoy this great day, this great start to the Annapolis parade season. Thank you. Let's get a round of applause for this big event before it gets here. Thank you. To our Muslim residents, we would like to first acknowledge that Saturday was the first day of Ramadan, a month-long celebration of when the first verses of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad more than 1,400 years ago. It is one of the holiest months of the year, and we wish our Muslim residents a restorative Ramadan. This past weekend, Anne Arundel County, the Chase Your Dreams Team initiative, the city's No Harm team, and dozens of government, non-profit, and commercial partners teamed up for a gun violence prevention weekend for 2 days of events including workshops, mentorships, peer-to-peer resources, a teen summit panel, and a celebrity basketball game. I want to thank Corin Mackel and Adetola Ajayi for bringing a busload of young people from Annapolis to this event, which took place in Severn, and also for coordinating the teen discussion panel, which was largely made up of teen participants from the city's No Harm Violence Prevention Program. Gun violence is a problem that does not have a one-size-fits-all solution. Bringing a community of people together to look at the drivers, to think through the problems and come up with solutions That is a big deal, and I thank the county and everyone involved in this weekend's event. Let's keep up the momentum and make sure the good work counts towards a better future for all our families in our community. Another event I'd like to highlight is the Origin screening and panel discussion presented by Annapolis Recreation and Parks on the last day of Black History Month. First, it was an amazingly powerful film, if you haven't seen it. It was out in limited release in February. We will have a wider release, including streaming, and it'll start to stream as of tomorrow. So please watch the movie and then revisit the video of the panel discussion, which is up on the Recs and Parks Facebook page. Thank you to Director Johnson and her team for making this amazing event happen. This coming Saturday, can you believe it, will be time to burn some socks at the annual Oyster Roast and sock burning in the Annapolis Maritime Museum. This rite of spring dates all the way back to the 1970s as people burned their nasty winter socks as a welcome to the boating season here in the sailing capital of Annapolis. So please come out for that. That event is huge. Last note is that the City Council's next meeting will move to Tuesday, March 26th, because Monday is Maryland Day and city offices are closed. So a big happy Maryland Day. Please be sure to check out the Maryland Day website for fun, free and deeply discounted events and activities for the whole family, including museum entrance, exhibits, and events not only in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County, but around our state. That same week is Good Friday, and the city offices will be closed in observance. On behalf of the council, we'd like to wish our residents a very happy Easter. Now let us get on with the meeting. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item is reports by committee.
Thank you all. Anybody from a committee? Alderman Gay?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. The Housing and Human Welfare Committee will meet, or our last meeting was February the 6th. Our next meeting was Monday the 18th. Tight agenda, and I will be considering adding a breakdown, hopefully from our Office of Law, in regards to the governor's policy. I know some of my colleagues are concerned about that because it does affect municipalities and housing policy, but we need it and it's critical. And I don't know who wants to be an enemy of the governor. So thank you.
Thank you. Alderman O'Neill, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Transportation Committee meeting will be meeting this Wednesday, March 11th. We are going to have a presentation and update from Premium Parking on Hillman Garage and some of the parking changes that they've been working on since our last meeting last November. That'll be this Wednesday, March 13th at 4 p.m. here in Council Chambers.
Thank you all. Alderman Tierney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee meeting met March 6th, and we gave a favorable recommendation to supplemental appropriation regarding a community legacy grant, and also SA 27-24, we recommended favorably contributions for a impact study fee. And of importance to my colleagues is that we did have a finance department update where Director Dickinson and Assistant City Manager Leonard were present and answered questions from the committee with a Skipper Lanes update. And Alderwoman Finlayson did request that Public Works Director Vogel provide an update on financing the Skipper Lane Road project. And then Director Dickinson gave us an update on filling open positions in the Finance Department. Our next meeting is scheduled, I believe, on Wednesday. It is a joint meeting, March 20th, with the Audit Committee, and I believe we're trying to find a compromise and meet at 11 a.m. To be determined. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules and City Government Committee scheduled for earlier this month was postponed. It is rescheduled for the 15th, which is Friday of this week. We will be looking at the comprehensive plan. I invite all of my colleagues to attend. We all have to look at the comp plan in different committees, So if you'd like to join the Rules Committee or the Environmental Matters Committee, we're hoping to kind of streamline and get our amendments in before the next work session. So I invite you, and the public's invited to attend the meeting on Friday at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah. Environmental Matters will be meeting, as my colleague said, from February 8th. I'm sorry, where is this? March 14th, this Thursday at 3 p.m. And we are talking about primarily two issues. One is the comp plan, and then the second one is our watershed restoration fund, to try to get an idea of where we are with how much money is in it and where is it projected to go.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell-Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next meeting of the Public Safety Standing Committee is preliminarily or possibly scheduled Monday, April 1st, 2024 at 4. That's kind of tentative, but we'll schedule and make sure everyone gets the notice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
So during comments by the general public, you may not speak on items that are scheduled for a public hearing. So there are two items that are scheduled on a public hearing. If you're here for those, there'll be a separate time for you to come forward. Those two are hours of Tolson Street Park and Tucker Street Park. They'll have a separate public hearing later after this one, and the Forest Conservation Plan appeals. That'll have a separate one. So the people I have registered to speak are first up, my friend Spencer Jones. Please come forward.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Name and address. My name is Spencer Jones. I live at 1830 North Forest Court in Crofton, Maryland. I'm the owner of Chicken Roost Deli, but tonight I'm addressing you not on my behalf, but on behalf of our employees. Right now, our employees at Chicken Roost and really a lot of downtown Main Street businesses are really, really struggling with parking. I'm hearing from employees that they can't afford to continue working downtown because they're having such big issues with parking. They're paying hundreds of dollars a month for parking and still getting hundreds of dollars of tickets on top of that. You know, they have 2-hour parking, but they're working while that's going on. They've got tables, they've got guests, so they can't always get away to move their car. They can't always get their meter, done exactly by 2 hours. And there are a lot of cases where if they're just a minute or two late, they're getting ticketed, and that's become very hard for them and very expensive. I know the city doesn't control the parking companies, but I think the city does have a lot of sway with them, given the relationship we have. And so I would encourage you all to pressure the parking companies as you can to make it easier for people to pay for street parking so that they're not having to move their cars every 2 hours so they can re-up more easily. Downtown businesses contribute so much to the city and its economy, but we can't do what we do if we can't hire people and without our employees down here, and they are increasingly getting priced out of downtown Annapolis. I think the trial that extended the GOTS parking employee parking to noon was a really good idea, and I think we should be doing more stuff like that helps our afternoon employees. But I think for us, Chicken Roost opens at 6:30, so we have a lot of employees from 6:30 to noon who can't benefit from that, and so they're still struggling. Obviously, we have this nice Hillman garage now right behind us, nice and new. And I know the parking companies, in the city have a need for parking revenue. It'd be great if we could just make everything free, but I know that's not viable. But when I park in Hillman, I see empty spaces basically every time I'm down there. And so I think, I know there's been talks about employee parking at Hillman. I think making a permanent employee parking program at Hillman would generate revenue for those empty spaces. Right now we've got empty spaces and there's no revenue coming in from empty garage spots right now. So I was very encouraged to hear that Premium's planning on doing a trial of Hillman employee parking when session is over. And I would encourage them and encourage the city council to encourage them to make that program permanent, because I think that will go a long way to helping our downtown employees stick around here. The last thing I would like to say is you're going to hear from a few other downtown business owners tonight. We formed the Downtown Annapolis Business Association, which is a new group sort of organized around business issues. And we are requesting we're requesting a meeting with the Parking Transportation Committee, premium parking, and our employees. We think that'll help get this dialogue started to address those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate you. Thank you. Next up is Jeff Buttle.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Jeff Buttle. I'm an Annapolis City resident residing in Ward 1. I'm here this evening to provide a few comments on the Annapolis 2040 Comprehensive Plan. A few concerns come to mind. The plan states the following in reference to our fire department. I quote, "The Annapolis Fire Department has determined that it will have sufficient resources to serve all projected new residents, businesses, and institutions in the city. However, according to a recent GIS study, the Annapolis Fire Department currently falls below all response time guidelines established by the National Fire Protection Association in all categories. The standard requires the first unit to arrive on scene within 4 minutes 90% of the time. Currently, the Annapolis Fire Department arrives 85% of the time within the 4 minutes. The 4-minute response time is even worse within the emergency medical services boundary at 72% of the time within 4 minutes. NFPA standards require that the second unit to arrive on the scene within 6 minutes, 90% of the time. The Annapolis Fire Department is currently at 70% of the time. Annapolis Fire Department staffing is currently 3 firefighters on engines, truck companies, and the 1 cross-staffed heavy rescue squad, while the NFPA standards require 4 firefighters at a minimum. It has been shown in a study that was conducted by the National Institute of Standards and Technology that a 4-person crew can accomplish critical fireground tasks on average 5.1 minutes, or approximately 25% faster than that of a 3-person crew. It is imperative that the elected city leadership take a serious and meaningful look at the draft 2040 plan in the area of fire department staffing, which is far from sufficient, quote unquote, as the plan currently suggests. Thank you.
It's just it's testimony, please. Yeah. Yes.
I'm curious if the union supports a increase in property taxes to afford the concerns that public safety in both police and fire have raised.
Yeah, I'm not a member of the Annapolis Union, so I'd have to defer to them to answer that question.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up is Grant Walker.
Good evening, Mayor Buckley, and to the esteemed council, thank you for having us here today. My name is Grant Walker. I am a resident of Ward 3, and I'm here to ask you to take action on the comprehensive plan in front of you in response to the GIS study that was done on your fire and EMS department. As a resident of Ward 3, I benefit from having a fire station right down the street from my house. Having this fire station down the street allows me to hear our fire trucks and ambulances run up and down the road at all hours of the day and night. I was recently made aware of a GIS study that evaluated our city fire and EMS resources. These resources and results are very concerning. That study showed a lack of staffing to meet the National Fire Protection Association's 1710 standard. Our fire and EMS resources fail to reach that standard, delaying our fire and EMS response in an emergency. When seconds count, this delay only risks our residents' health and safety. It's a clear indicator of our city fire department being under-resourced and overworked. Over the weekend, our resources were pulled into the fire in the county off of 214, and if a fire had occurred in our city, I would have expected that the county fire department would have also run back into our city. However, this goes to show our limited resiliency with city resources in handling fire and EMS incidents. Additionally, with this upcoming summer season and ongoing legislative session, our fire department is constantly stretched to its limit. I'm here to ask the city to prioritize its fire department, not just for today, but for its future. Too often, fire and EMS departments become neglected because our firefighters always find a way to succeed, even when under-resourced and underfunded. It's easy to forget those who are frequently in the media due to positive outcomes and not due to negative PR. Please don't forget our firefighters. Please ensure that this city has enough firefighters to meet today's needs while planning for the future. I request that if this body fails to address these issues, that you strike the word comprehensive from the Annapolis 2040 Comprehensive Plan, because it will not encompass a comprehensive vision for the future of this city. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks. Grant, can you just, your home address for the record? We need.
1579 Ritchie Lane.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up is Joe Pilot.
Good evening. Joe Pilot, President of the Annapolis Professional Firefighters. I last stood before the council and mayor.
Joe, I need your home address, please.
1790 Forest Drive.
Thank you so much.
I stood before the council and mayor on the 26th of February, or the last I stood before the council on the 26th of February. I spoke then about the Annapolis Ahead 2040 comprehensive plan's lack of fire department planning and its false statement that we are adequately staffed and equipped to handle the emergencies through the plan years. Tonight I'm here again to ask that actual planning begin for staffing our fire department to meet national standards, for our members' safety, and most importantly for the public's safety. At the end of the last meeting, I sent every council member an email with a link to our GIS study and an open opportunity to discuss this topic. I've received a mixed bag of responses, some positive feedback and thanks for saying what needed to be said, and some questions regarding the items within our GIS study. All the while, the clock keeps ticking to bring this comprehensive plan to fruition. At the last council work session, there was over an hour spent on zoning and the building future of the city, along with affordable housing. Where is the planning for the added strain on emergency services as these neighborhoods go up, senior housing communities are built, and existing communities are remodeled to expand their capacity? It's time to take this seriously. Everyone should have my contact information. It's in the multiple emails I've sent to the council and mayor. I'm always willing to sit down and discuss the future of our fire department with anyone, including the public. This is not something to kick the can down the road and deal with later. The time is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Next up is Alice Johnson. Yep.
Good
Hello.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alice Johnson. I'm a resident of Bloomsbury Square, and I have a very humane concern in regards to the people, not statistics, of Bloomsbury Square. But first, before I mention what it is exactly I want to talk about, I want you to listen to these two definitions. Human beings. The definition, Homo sapien, or child of species of male or female. Distinguished from animals. However, animals do have, they think and they feel, to a certain degree. Superior mental development, power of articulate speech, upright stance. Okay. Now, humane. Humanity and being humane. Today, two different things. Humane, having or showing compassion or benevolence, showing kindness, care, sympathy toward others. Okay, the issue today is about the treatment for Bloomsbury Square, public housing in general, but I live in Bloomsbury Square. I've been there from the beginning. I signed the waiver contract. I negotiated for 2.5 years. And my dad taught me never to go away from something that I start. I am very concerned about how over decades, the people in housing authorities have been treated. Mismanagement, like today. Today meaning the last 10 years. We have had in Bloomsbury Square 10 within the last 6 months of property managers. I was out of heat for a whole week. They came in 4 or 5 times. Yesterday, they almost have the problem resolved. The contractor has to come back. I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair, but I can't. They have to fix the ramp first. But first, they have to come and look at the pamphlet to show what they can and cannot do. I've left messages. I've called various areas in regards to getting that assistance. Haven't had any response. This has been a weekend, 3 days today, and prior to my wheelchair getting to me because I had to be fitted for it. So I had to walk down here today. Because another thing, this is why it's important to me. Let me let you know some of the issues that we had to deal with. And basically, let me first say and emphasize, and I can't emphasize it too much, this is for the city council, because the city is not doing right. Not doing right at all. They keep penalizing the housing authority. I know we're a small community, a so-called minority community. However, we're people, we're human beings, and we are made up of mostly senior citizens like myself. So when we have, like I have, let me tell you about my experiences. I have leaks in my bedroom ceiling, 2nd floor. When it rains, it pours, get your bucket. I have water coming in the floor. Not just me, but there's others. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm speaking also for the community, because a lot of people say, don't come down here, because sooner or later,
So Alice?
they might put us out. But let me finish, sir. I
Yeah.
will not interrupt you, and I apologize.
But you only have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I'm going to get to it. If you allow me, sir,
I will
to use
allow
my
you.
3 minutes,
I will-
I would respectfully appreciate it.
I will allow you, but I gave you 3 minutes and then we gave you an extra minute. So if you could just wrap it up, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. If I overdid it, I apologize.
Thank you.
My concern are the various things, gas leaks. I had gas leaks. I mean, kept having them. I come here for help. I was told, your assistant told me that she called BG&E, but she must have made an appointment, because when you call for a gas leak, they're gonna come out immediately. A week later, I had to call. Then I had to fight the housing authority to let them know where the gas leak was. These are just a few issues. The windows coming out. I may have to put towels in my windows with my heat on, because I have three windows in my bedroom. And then even with the heat, the air is coming on because the windows are rotten. I'm just saying and asking, I'm practically begging, stop penalizing the housing authority when someone calls and say there's an issue. I initiated this, and I feel awful, because you're talking about people's jobs, you're talking about the future, and I don't know whether we were being, I believe we were being sabotaged. The state sabotaged us, because we had them water leaks problem when I first moved in there. I mean, water leaks. And we also had gas leaks, so if that ain't sabotage, I don't know what is.
Thank you, Alice. So I'm going to check with Hillary tomorrow and we're going to call you, okay?
Okay, it's all in regards to not penalizing the housing authority.
Okay.
Assisting us, please. Treat us like human beings.
Thank you, Alice.
And many blessings to everybody and your family. And thank you for the fire department, because it does a lot for me.
Next up is Jennifer Sowers.
Ms. Johnson, I think you left your purse on the chair.
With my head, I was there to go. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As each of you are aware, downtown Annapolis businesses, employees, and visitors continue to struggle with the current parking system. Since the passing of Resolution 5423, there have been several meetings with Premium Parking and the Transportation Committee. We were very hopeful that solutions would be identified and implemented to make a positive impact. With 3 new restaurants opening around City Dock and up to 150 additional new employees on the horizon, it is imperative that City Council take action. We are requesting permanent Hillman and Gotts employee parking. I know it had been spoken about $6 per day. We want that to be 24/7, 365, not just when the legislative session is in. And also addressing the continued aggressive visitor, employee, and contractor ticketing. Additionally, we would like a formal meeting to discuss these matters here at City Hall for business owners and staff members to address and request answers from Premium Parking. I don't know if the Wednesday meeting would be appropriate or not. You guys can let me know. Like many of our downtown business owners, I am not one of your constituents. However, I do contribute to the economy of downtown Annapolis. Many of my staff members and guests are your constituents. This is a situation that is gradually taking its toll on our downtown community and the economy. As we see businesses close and several up for sale currently, I implore you to be an advocate for us and take action on these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Next up is Jeanette. Please come forward. Someone signed you up. You don't have to speak if you don't. No. Okay. Okay. Would anybody else like to come forward and speak? Please come forward and just state your full name and address. Thank you. And let you all know, we love Chicken Roost and we love you guys. And so we're working a lot to try to get this right. You know, it's a brand new garage with a brand new system. And so we are meeting a lot. And so we will get it right. And I apologize it's taken so long.
Hi, I'm Shelley McFadden. I'm at 1656 Foolish Pleasure Court. And also discussing the issue with the parking garage. I know we have other options, and that was my response when I emailed regarding the parking situation. I try to get to work before 6 a.m. The first shuttle that leaves from Park Place is at 6 a.m. Depending on who the driver is, sometimes it is not at 6 a.m. So then I have to leave there after paying and then come try to find a parking spot down here. Also, depending on how their staffing is, I've waited up for an hour to get on the shuttle to go back. The girls are now parking, at College Avenue. They're parking in Eastport. We used to take taxis and try to synchronize, but it's not safe. They have cash on them. People know what their outfits look like. That's as well as a lot of the other businesses around here. And servers don't want to try to figure out how they're going to get back and forth after being on their feet for 10 hours with a bundle of cash and try to get back to their cars. What I suggested was just trying to use the top floor, which seems to always be available, for a discounted rate, reasonable, fill up the parking garage. The older people can't figure it out still, so I go out there numerous times and try to help them figure out how to do it, and just do it the old-fashioned way. Feed in your license plate number, put in your money, but it's confusing. It should be utilized. We should be able to use it. We need help, so help us. That's all.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeanette. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? Thank you. I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is consent calendar.
Could I get a motion on the consent calendar?
Second.
Is that a roll call? A second. Alderman Gay?
I have a question on the consent calendar. On SA 2624. What fund is that? I'm not familiar with this Community Legacy Fund.
Director Dickinson.
Jody Dickinson, Finance Director. That is the Community Legacy Fund. It was some leftover funding from a program from several years ago that we've been using for various community improvement projects. It's under the control of planning and zoning and Teresa Wellman's projects. And she's been spending it down over the course of these last few years. She uses it for some of the building improvements that she does throughout the community where appropriate. And this is just some fund balance that was left over from last year that wasn't appropriated in the budget, and she would like to use it.
Is this done on an application? Or is this at the discretion of the Director of Planning and Zoning?
So I don't know the answer to that question. You'd have to ask them how they process the request for this.
So I will email you, but I'm curious how the fund operates. I'm also curious, are we actually paying for the security gate itself or just the installation?
It is part of the cost of the security gate installation. CDBG funds are being used for part of it as well.
Bowman Place is Ward 3?
No, Bowman Place is in Ward 2 or 1, I think.
Ward 2, it's Bowman.
It's on West Washington Street.
So they're putting a security gate on, is this behind Timothy House?
It's part of Timothy.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
coming from West Washington Street. Sorry. I had a temporary blank there when I said.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
Just wanted to pull SA 2724 from the consent calendar.
SA 2724. Okay. SA 2724. Alderman Tierney.
Could I just ask a question about the Community Legacy Fund? Is
Sure.
that appropriate?
Yep.
Yeah, hi.
It's out of order.
Is the balance
point of
still for
order.
fiscal year? I'm sorry, what?
Point of order.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be talking about consent item? This is,
Okay, I thought it was on the
we
table.
have to pull them out first
Okay.
if we want to talk about them.
second.
It's okay, I'll ask under separate cover.
Okay. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Kendall Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Lot of money.
The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous, or do we want to go with SA 2724 now?
Is that
Yeah. The next item is SA 2724, General Department of Planning and Zoning contributions from impact study fee.
Can I get you want to move that? We need to move
Sure,
it?
move SA 2724.
Yeah. A second. Alderman Savage?
I was just curious what project this was for, because the way it's worded, it sounds like the city's paying for a traffic impact study using our own money. Usually that money is paid for by the developer.
Yes, so we received a developer contribution back in the fall to do a traffic study. And in this situation, we carried out the traffic study, but they need to have their appropriations re-established so they can use that funding for something else. So they've come for this additional appropriation. Normally, we would have gotten the contribution, then come to the Finance Committee and Council for the appropriation, but they had already completed the study, but they need the funding back into their budget.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Did you need a roll call on that? Oh, yeah. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous, beginning with appointments. AP 324, appointment Brendan Greeley, Historic Preservation Commission, and AP 424, nominations Commission to plan celebrations for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America appointments.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to move AP 324 and AP 424.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is public hearings, beginning with ordinance 0224, hours for Tolson Street Park and Tucker Street Park.
All right, so we have a couple of people signed up to speak. Please come forward. Michael Meadhold.
Good evening.
Hey there, how you doing?
First of all, I appreciate Councilperson O'Neill's submission of this bill regarding noise ordinance and keeping peace in the parks. That's important to us. We live right there at 505 Monterey Avenue, just up from Tucker Street.
And your full name, thank you. And your full name?
Mike Meinhold, M-E-I-N-H-O-L-D.
Thank you so much, thank you.
Yep. And we also lease a mooring, 61, right at the end of Tucker Street. So we have a unique view of the park when I'm working on the boat, and I observe a lot of the use of the park. There are a lot of many fishing people who come there early in the morning to use the park, paddle boarders and people in canoes and kayaks, in addition to the people who use the ramp. And a lot of the activity is, especially in the summer, pre-dawn, people are taking advantage of the good fishing and also just the beauty of the Weems Creek at that time of day. I would not want to see this ability to use the park at this time restricted. So I would suggest some flexibility in the hours, but whether it's a sunrise or some time before sunrise, to allow this activity to continue. And I'm fine with the 10 o'clock closing. That makes a lot of sense. It's well after dark by that time. We're often coming in on the boat after about 9:30 after racing on Wednesday nights, and we're almost always in before then, so that wouldn't be too much of a burden on us. And I don't think, my observation, not many people are using the park after those times. That's all. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Next up is Shelley McFadden. Please come forward. Oh, did I have that? Sorry. Okay. Anybody else like to come forward on 02-24? Okay, I declare the public hearing on 02-24 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is, under public hearings, is 02623, Forest Conservation Plan Appeals.
Right. We got Shelley on everything? No. Anybody like to come up and speak on Forest Conservation Plan Appeals for 0-26-23? Okay, I declare the public hearing
Mayor.
closed on Alderman
Before you do that.
Savage, yes?
So this has been referred back to the Planning Commission. And I guess for Madam City Clerk or Mr. City Attorney, I would like to get this off our agenda for public hearing until it's finished at the Planning Commission, instead of having this be on our agenda every week, because I don't know how long they will be. So could I make a motion to postpone this until the Planning Commission is finished?
Right.
Okay.
Get a motion and a second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative action, beginning with first readers. The first one is 0424, residency requirement for liquor licensees repeal.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I'd like to refer 0-4-24 to Economic Matters Committee. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Next item is legislative actions on second reader, beginning with ordinance 03223, short-term rental licenses and regulations.
So move.
Second.
Alderman Savage.
I would move to postpone until April 8th.
Second.
Thank you. Got a second on
Thank
that?
you. Because the rules and government is about halfway finished. I think they'll finish probably this Friday, hopefully. But yeah.
You have a
Okay,
second
thank you.
motion.
Got a motion and a second to postpone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Do want to go through all those amendments anyway. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item agenda under second readers is 0124, city building code updates.
Can I get a motion on 0-1-24? Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Could I get a motion on to adopt 0-1-24 on third reader?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Yes?
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderman Shandemeyer. Aye. Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions. Under second reader, R624, fee schedule updated for ordinance 3023.
Is there a motion to adopt R-6-24 on second reader?
I have a question.
Okay, let's get on the floor. Moved. Got a second?
Second.
Thank you. Alderman Gay?
Can we have a map maybe for this? To just see generally what areas it would impact? I'm on R624.
Mr. City Manager, can we get a map to Alderman Gay?
I'm confused. Do the residents want the fees raised or?
Alderman Savage can give you some explanation on that.
It's not mine, but so the legislation, the sponsor may want to talk, but basically I think just raises the fee for the third and fourth vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, because currently there's only one flat fee for first and anything beyond
Yeah.
the first, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alderman
Yeah,
Tierney?
I think a little background. In District 1 and 2, according to the SP Plus analysis that was done when they came on board, they did an inventory of spaces in District 1 and 2 versus the number of residential permits for cars. And it was, there are more requests for permits than there are spaces, substantially so. I was just trying to look up those numbers. But that being said, this resolution, first off, the fees for parking have not changed for about a decade, no change with inflation or anything like that. But in interest of the, for lack of a better word, the difficulties that District 1 and District 2 residents are having right now, we did not change, this resolution does not change the registration fee for one vehicle or two vehicles to park on the street. Without saying it another way, it is not really realistic to have three vehicles, own three vehicles, and assume that you can park in these districts when, again, there are not enough spaces. So we reviewed the impact of that, and we also took some knowledge from what they do in the Netherlands. My colleagues came back and gave me some information there as far as increasing the fee. Not so much as a deterrent, but also to evaluate the impact as such. And my hope is if we do receive that additional revenue, then to address the hardship that my residents are having right now, perhaps then maybe I could implement some kind of parking permit pass, for free 2-hour parking. That's in the back of my mind right now. But again, it's for the third vehicle and for 4 vehicles or more in District 1 and 2. And to answer Alderman Gay's question, District 1 and 2 is essentially downtown on either side of Main Street. So, yeah.
Alderman Gay?
Thank you. I guess that answers my question a lot. I'm concerned about the unintended consequences. What if you are a, mom, dad, teenager, you have, 3 vehicles. Are there, maybe you consider putting in a process in place maybe for those who are financially challenged, or I just think I'm thinking of maybe families that just wouldn't be able to afford it.
Well, having experienced that in living downtown, well, not to be personal, but my husband had a car. We had 3 cars because he had a race car thing. Anyways, so there are available, you can go to Craigslist or anything like that, and you'd be so surprised at how many people are selling their garage or lot spaces during the day for a fee. So it's that's out there. That's the market right now. But it's just too squished up right now to assume you can park a third or a fourth vehicle on the street.
Thank you. Alderman Savage?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please add me as a co-sponsor. I just want to commend you for putting this together. I did have one question actually for Finance Director. Where does this money go for the annual parking permit fee for districts?
All the parking revenues were going to go into the parking fund
Okay.
to help pay all the debt and the expenses there.
Okay, all right, let's take a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Oh, no, sorry, is it third reading? Yeah, sorry. Was no amendment, right?
It is an amendment. Tierney has an amendment.
Sorry, Ellie, I missed your amendment there, yeah.
Yeah, no, the amendment is a replacement, there's no other way of saying it. The amendment is a readjustment of those fees after internal discussion. So we should be really looking at Amendment 1 for the respective fees.
Second.
Thank you. Is that okay, or do we need to move that? Okay, you want to move it now, please? Amendment number 1. Thank you. Got a second on that? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to vote on it on second reader as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Isn't it a roll call? Is there a motion to adopt O-36?
It's a resolution.
We good? Okay, cool. Sorry.
Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for second reader is R 924, city-supported special events in fiscal year 2025.
Can I get a motion, please?
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
There's an error on here too, because it says that the following events are designated, or I'm sorry, can I?
Alderman Gay, sure.
You have the New Year's Eve celebration as a fee waived, but then at the bottom it says there are no fees are assessed or waived for the New Year's Eve celebration. So that should be fixed.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is R 1024, temporary moratorium on city consideration of applications by businesses related to the cannabis industry.
So a motion to adopt R-10-24 on second reader.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Alderman Gay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. This is not my legislation, and I have not had a chance to talk to whoever introduced it. But I do think it is incredibly overreaching, considering the state is currently in the process, the Economic Matters Committee, chaired by Delegate C.T. Wilson, in the process of creating regulations and standards for municipalities and recreational cannabis businesses. What this legislation is doing is attempting to undermine that, and it is also attempting to undermine our economic growth by limiting the number of dispensaries that can be allowed in the city of Annapolis. We went through this with the medical process previously. I don't know how this legislation could be put together without taking into consideration the very real laws that will go into effect and by at least July 1st, because the General Assembly will pass some legislation as it relates to municipality zoning and recreational cannabis use by April. This is just totally uncalled for.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Hold on, Annette.
I believe the reason for the delay is because staff need time. That's what I'm reading in the staff report. The staff need time to implement processing of these things. So, I mean, the reason I was voting for it is because the staff have asked for time.
Alderman Tierney, then Alderman Gay, then
Oh,
Alderman
thank you, Mr.
Shanamai.
Mayor. Please don't misunderstand this legislation. We should be very receptive to any sort of cannabis industry, whether it's, an entrepreneur or someone coming in. But we can't write code yet until we know what the state is doing, as of, as you know, the General Assembly is in session, and, as of March 8th, they're still discussing specifics on it. So in discussion with he's not here, but the Director of Planning and Zoning, it is just a temporary timeout so that we can evaluate the state's legislation from their discussions and just wait. We don't want applications to come in and then react to them incorrectly. So please don't misunderstand this. This is to get it right and to address the state regulations, which unfortunately with cannabis, they govern. So, hopefully it won't be a long, it's a scary word, moratorium. And I thank you for the staff report, because it is, very sensitive to these, these applications that may come in. So.
Thank you, Alderman Gay.
That's essentially what I just said. The state is working on this, and this is far overreaching. Why put a moratorium together on the consideration of applications when we don't even know what the state is going to propose? I think we should wait until the state puts out, specific language as it relates to this process, and then come back and put together a moratorium or certain policy regulations based off of the consideration of the planning director. But to go so far out to put a moratorium in place on even the consideration of applications is crazy. And I don't see any other planning department outside of, maybe Western Maryland, putting moratoriums on the consideration of applications. I look around and I see other counties flocking to it and trying to bring those jobs and that revenue to their municipalities.
Thank you, Alderman Shandelmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand wanting to come up with some regulations. We don't want a free-for-all situation, but a concern I have is, would a moratorium impact the license process with the state? Are you aware of any of that, or is that fear unfounded?
It's just, I think we're kind of sort of agreeing. The moratorium is essentially on reviewing applications, okay? We can't act on those applications until we know what we're doing. So that's all this is. And I support the director. I support Planning and Zoning's request to do so. That's all this is. I think we agree on the intent. We want applications to come in, but we don't want to act on them incorrectly. We're just saying, look, let's wait, and when they come in, we'll act on it. And I promise you, I'll be the first to sponsor legislation that, coordinates with the state or whatever is necessary.
So we don't think it will impact.
And actually, there's not, and one thing that we did, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one thing we did check is to make sure that there aren't any current applications. And according to Director Jakubiak, there are not. So
we don't think this will impact state licensing of these businesses?
No, they govern.
So if it's not impacting the state licensing, and we're trying to come up with these zoning standards in good faith, I don't see this as trying to hinder the growth or opening of these stores. I think a lot of the people in this room will agree that this will be a very good economic boom to us. And the main fear I would have if we got involved is it would delay state licensing. But if it doesn't do that, I think it just gives us a little bit of time to come up with a couple of standards similar to what we have with liquor stores or whatever it's going to end up looking like.
Yeah. So the city has about 47 or, different zoning districts. So believe me,
It's a mess.
planning and zoning are not like sitting idle here. They're getting prepared. They have to address what this is going to look like, in different zoning areas. So, we're just giving them a little time. That's all.
Thank you, Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, my colleague, I support this industry 100%. And originally I had some concerns, but spoke to the sponsor and gave him more thought. And, and the bottom line is it's 9 months, but also more important bottom line, it's got to come through us still, the changes, the zoning changes. Because we need, I guess the point is even when the state decides, we're going to have to adopt the state requirements, presumably, at least based on the staff report. It sounds like they're putting in restrictions regarding possibly distance from schools and things like that, which we already talked about for medical. That's kind of my inclination at the moment.
Thank you, Alderman Gay.
Again, in which I completely agree with, and I think the state sets those, and if they choose to do so, then they will allow municipalities the leverage to tighten those rules. But what we've seen by some members, one being the sponsor, is that when we had the medical cannabis legislation before us, they attempted to use the zoning requirements and those rules to limit and restrict where we could place even medical cannabis dispensaries. I think they're going to do the same exact thing as it relates to the recreational cannabis and using zoning to limit where we can put those in the city. Furthermore, if there are no applications currently in, why would the director assume that his staff would be overburdened? There are no applications in. So why does he need the moratorium? I'm confused. Is he making policy?
I think he's a professional, Dwan. I think he knows what he's doing, and it's new. We don't know what the guidelines are.
So there's 0 applications in, and he's that overwhelmed that he thinks that the office would need a 9-month moratorium with 0 applications.
It doesn't say that he's overwhelmed.
So let's just vote on this, please.
Are you calling the question?
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderman Shandemeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
No.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Okay. The resolution passes.
You can't handle it, then you shouldn't be the director.
Sorry, it's just not.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
The agenda is complete, Mr. Mayor.
Right, do we have anything else for good order?
Motion to adjourn?
Right?
Oh, jeez.
I would like to get
we
the
got-
clock fixed.
Oh, God, yes.
What is the time? Oh my
We
God.
just started the meeting 3 minutes ago.
Weren't we? Oh.
Yeah, we didn't get a second on that. We still, no, Alderman O'Neill has something for good order, please.
I just want to say, I know I harp on Food Fridays a lot, but I wanted to say thank you to Alderwoman Finlayson for coming and helping us. I think that she was pleasantly surprised at our operations. And anybody who wants to volunteer, we are always looking for more volunteers, especially delivery drivers.
Thank you.
Fridays.
Alderman Finlayson.
I have to commend Alderwoman O'Neill because she has put together quite an operation. I mean, it is phenomenal. And yes, if you have some time on a Friday morning, I mean, it's organized. You don't have to worry about floundering around. I mean, it's phenomenal. So thank you for your effort and for continuing and growing it. Up to 240 families you serve every Friday now. That's significant. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna, A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.